The story I'm about to tell is not a made-up story. This is my story. A tale of vengeance and of a bestie that simply couldn't let bullying stand. If you hate it, go blame a streamer named Caspro, cause he brought this giant hulking sack of hormones and innuendos upon all of you. Everyone starts Dead by Daylight somewhere. For me, I started after spending around 60 nights falling asleep to the buttery voice of Caspro. Now, Caspro was almost exclusively playing Dead by Daylight, and if you've ever listened to this man's voice, he could talk a nun out of her habit in about 3 seconds flat. Seriously, go listen to him. You'll get it. So now you understand how I ended up following the world's sexiest foghorn down the old well and into the fog. I used to play Killer a lot. I had just discovered Wraith after watching Caspro get moried while he was saying something along the lines of,
"Yes, kitty daddy, spank me like one of your French girls."
I was inspired. That bing bong was a breath of fresh serotonin in a wasteland of Catholic guilt. I was out playing Wraith on Ormond, and I was having a great time. I was at the counter ringing the bell for service, and I was about to walk away with a hefty purchase of 2 medkits and a toolbox after Nia went to go get the manager, and the manager offered to go into the back and rustled up some extra stock. Obviously, these two were gonna escape this corporate hellscape because I've never experienced such wonderful customer service in my life. They put it in storage in the basement for me, and I hustled to go see what the hell the other two were doing because there was a lot of banging going on and I just wanted to get my shopping done, damn it. I found David and Dwight and Shaq vaulting a window, and I did my best to need a ward and asked them to ring my bell. Unfortunately, I was rewarded with a head-on and spent most of my time being blinded and pallet stunned while I binged my bong and tried to convince them that I wasn't Murder Mittens. I just wanted to help some people get their achievements done and walk away with a fun story about having to work retail while playing Dead by Daylight. Finally, I figured they must have a Stun the Killer challenge, so I let them drop every damn pallet in the entire map on my head, occasionally pulling over because Manager Yui needed some inspirational tunes to finish her generator. Thankfully, the match ended before my retinas were too far gone, but when I got to endgame chat to thank Nia and Yui for their help and offer to fill out a survey with corporate, I suddenly wished that I had just moved on to the next. The David and Dwight started calling me every name in the book. Not only that, they hopped on my Steam profile, headed to my Twitch, and started specifically making fun of how I looked. Keep in mind here that I had mostly streamed League of Legends up to that point, so about the most abuse I had to take was an ADC occasionally sauntering in to say support diff and then dip. I wasn't quite as used to the DBD crowd as I am now, so my feelings were pretty hurt and I closed up the game and stopped playing Killer entirely. I moved on to Survivor, and I did eventually get used to streaming and having the Killer come in and call me all manners of names to the point that someone came in and called me a dishwasher. Now I'm not sure if there's some slang here that I'm missing, but after logging a few hundred hours of verbal abuse on Twitch, a comment escaped my brain basket along the lines of, "Well, I have been known to squirt hard enough to wash a dish, so I guess that's not too far off." And that particular troll endured right around 10 minutes of my chat and I talking dirty about kitchen appliances before they washed their eyes in dawn and got the hell out of there, never to return again. Back in the day when I played Retail Wraith, I was not that person, and those comments drove me into a dark place where I didn't want to step out of my house and show the facial scars from a dog bite, or risk someone pointing, laughing, and counting how many chins I had. To make matters worse, the David was a streamer and he pulled up clips of my tiny little 20 follower Twitch account so his chat could join in. Fast forward about 3 months later and I'm swiffing with my bestie Dino. Dino is an absolute sweetheart and is really the voice of reason to my massive raging ego. She's also the one who's waiting with band-aids when that particular world-ending, gravity-sucking ego gets injured. The best part about Dino is that she doesn't tolerate bullies, and God save you if you ever show up in the fog and she catches you bullying another survivor, because she will be so far up your asshole that every time you open your mouth you'll just hear her making bird noises and criticizing your perk choices. So we load into Disturbed Ward and I happen to notice we're with a Dwight and a David, and wouldn't you know that David is a streamer. I let Dino know that I'm going to take a quick locker break, and I pull up that stream and it's that same guy from 3 months ago. I hop out the locker to the lilting sound of chainsaws, and I know we're in a match with Billy, literally one of the most precious killers in the game. I immediately locate Dino and help out with the generator, cutting her off mid-comment about how we should split up to do separate generators because it's more efficient since we don't have Prove Thyself to fill her in on the situation. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced what it's like to feel rage coming through Discord, but I could feel an F5 tornado forming over a warehouse full of sandbags from 20 miles away. To her credit, she did not immediately rise from the generator and bend the two of them over her knee. She asked, "How do you want to handle this?" Now, I'd grown a lot in those 3 months, but if you could generate electricity out of pure spite, I would put energy companies out of business. David and Dwight were perpetually in chase, which gave us plenty of time to go out and locate a flashlight and find their base of operations at Shaq. I was pretty sure Billy hadn't been able to see anything without getting stunned in the last 5 minutes and was currently standing motionless in the middle of Shaq while the two of them bagged the crap out of him. When we arrived, Billy looked at us and I knew he was down but not dead, and we set it up. Dino blocked the window. I stood in the other door, leaving only only the door with the pallet which had already been thrown still standing. Billy's eyes lit up like he was Ace heading to a whorehouse on Dollar Day. My man revved that chainsaw and David and Dwight realized they needed to get in the locker or get out. David blocked Dwight and hopped the pallet while Dwight got in a locker. Billy shut down the saw and dragged him out of that locker, and I raced to the side of Shaq to make sure David wasn't getting anywhere near Billy's eyeballs with that flashy. Dwight was on hook and Billy looked at David like he was ready to fist bump the shit out of his face. David took off and Billy and Dino and I were in hot pursuit. He tried to hide down a narrow loop and used the pallet to block Billy from a straight shot, but Dino was there, shaking her head as Billy approached. He wasn't gonna chainsaw him. No. Billy heard the word of the Lord, knew that when Jesus said turn the other cheek, it meant to rotate your body so when you swing back you got twice the stank on your backhand. David took the hit and tried to escape, but I was there blocking the other exit. Billy put him down and threw him on hook. Dwight went ahead and tried his luck and went to stage 2, missed all of his skill checks and flew off to the great beyond. Not David. Dino had the flashlight on his eyeballs while I tickled his armpits to keep him locked in stage 1. Dino's flashy ran out, so she ran to Dwight's hook and grabbed his old one and lit that beamer up. Billy was doing celebratory chainsaw pirouettes. Once David had finally gotten to the entity's realm, Billy helped us finish the generators and we collected all the beamers and left them at his feet. Now, for those of you still here, I will not say who that streamer was. Honestly, after we were able to issue some Dead by Daylight karma, I forgot it entirely, and Dino, the good mod that she is, made sure this guy could never show up on my channel again. I know a lot of you have probably encountered people like this, and you too may have cried in the shower or skipped the meal because someone decided to take a game a little bit too far and make you feel bad about yourself. To anyone that endured this, I just want to say to you that I am Zen Batman and I love you and I cherish you and you deserve to enjoy the damn game without being put down. Stay safe out in the fog. Be good to each other.